Hey crafters, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to make a fun card with some older Lawn Fawn products. Hope you enjoy! So I started this card with two pieces of paper. One is 5x7 and one is 4x6. And I'm going to use the plaid stencil, but instead of getting this beautiful plaid pattern and using it the normal way, I'm going to turn the stencil so that the horizontal lines line up with the direction of the paper so that I can sort of mimic an Italian tablecloth. So what I did is I taped the stencil onto my piece of paper using some Post-it note tape and then used some candied apple distress ink and applied it through the stencil. And this is the larger of the two stencils. I didn't actually use the other stencil to make the background. Now the Post-it note tape is very handy on this kind of background because not only does it secure the stencil in place, but it also stops me from accidentally inking on the right-hand side of that background. And you'll notice that I reuse the same pieces of Post-it note tape over and over again, so it's well worth using it. So once I've completely covered the background with this stencil, I'm going to carefully remove the tape. And then I just need to shift the stencil to the right, lining up the pattern. Then I'm going to just reapply that Post-it note tape and ink over this area as well. And this time I just added a few extra pieces of Post-it note tape to make sure that stencil stayed in place and I didn't make any of the ink go where I didn't want it to go. So when I'm applying the distress ink, I'm just making sure that I add lots of ink over the areas that overlap so that I can't see the shape of the stencil peeking through. And then I'm going to shift the stencil and repeat this again on the right-hand side. And it might seem a bit fiddly, but when you're finished, you get this beautiful background. Now I'm just going to rotate the stencil and apply the same stencil stripes going the opposite way. So instead of using this stencil in the traditional manner where you rotate it and apply the pattern on an angle, I'm using it to make sort of a gingham style pattern. And you can see the results are quite effective already. So I'm just going to continue to do this until the entire background is finished. And I'm going to repeat this on the smaller piece as well. So this is the finished card size, the 5x7 inches. And then the smaller piece will go on top of this. So I just love this background. It's just what I had in mind. So for this card, I used an older Lawn Fawn set called Pizza My Heart. And I stamped the pizza images first and then colored them in and then added the toppings. So I used 2 of the large pizzas, a slice, 2 pizza boxes, and then for the inside of the card, an extra pizza. And then I also added the pizza cutter. And the set comes with this line that you can stamp, which segregates your pizza into slices. So I did that on all 3 of the pizzas. And then once I was finished, I colored the images in with my Copic markers. And I made sure to use browns and oranges on the cheese to make it look realistic. And then afterwards, I added the toppings. And I found that this was the best way to put them on rather than stamping them and then coloring. And there's something so fun about stamping on the pizza toppings and customizing the pizza. And this is why I've wanted this stamp set for ages, and I just recently got it. So I used a few different shades of VersaFine Clair ink because I found that this worked well. And as long as you're not stamping in yellow or a very light orange, the colors show up well on a Copic colored pizza. Now I was a bit heavy-handed on the pizza on the right on adding that black line. You can see it's a little bit smudged there. So I decided I would cut off one of these pieces and it would be the piece that is by itself. And that way I could just tidy up this line so no one will know that it was a little bit messy before. So using the same stamp set, I stamped 2 of the sentiments, no matter how you slice it, and you're the greatest. And I put these onto the smaller piece of paper that we decorated at the beginning of the video, and then just decided where all these stamped images will go. So once I was happy with my placement of all these cute little pizza images, I glued them onto this 4x6 inch card, and then I added foam tape to the back. And my plan was to pop this up on the 5x7 inch piece of paper. But when I lined it up, I didn't like how the pattern was kind of mismatched. So I carefully peeled off that 4x6 inch piece of paper and then stuck it onto a piece of black paper, and then popped this up onto the same card base. And I think that bit of black in between the 2 patterns makes a huge difference, and it allows you to have 2 different patterns that don't necessarily line up. Now for the inside of the card, I thought it would be cute to combine another older stamp set with this. So I stamped some images from Screen Time, and it has this cute little girl and boy, as well as some pizza slices, which fit perfectly, and then also a whole bunch of speech bubbles so you can customize your card. So since this was a congratulations card, I stamped the word congrats a couple times as well. So after coloring these images, I added them onto the inside of my 5x7 inch card base, and I put the pizza on the left hand side and then added the girl and the boy in there. I also have them holding a piece of pizza each and put congrats at the top. So there you can see the finished pizza themed card. Just gorgeous. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video inspiring. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you're notified whenever I post a new video. Have a crafty day!